and welcome to your weekly messages. Today is Saturday the 13th of January 2024, and for those of you that don't know me, my name is Deborah Jane Sutton, and you can find out more about me and the things that I do from this YouTube channel and also from my website at deborahjanesutton.com. If you haven't already seen the messages for the month of January, link in the description, video in the end screen, take a look. And also the messages for the whole year of 2024. Link in the description, video in the end screen as well, if you haven't already seen those. I did a full Celtic cross for the year ahead. So take a look if you haven't already seen them. And if you would like to learn how to use the emotion code, the emotional healing modality, if you'd like to become an energy healer and learn the emotion code, in just one, albeit very intensive, but just one workshop, then get in touch, check out the website, and you will see that Monday the 22nd, so that's just over a week away, I'm offering that workshop for you to learn how to use the emotion code for yourself and release your own trapped emotions, which will raise your frequency. Where will that take you? Raising our frequency. Raising our frequency has to be the most important thing in our life. When we understand that our life is created from our frequency, then you understand the importance of raising your frequency is everything. It's literally everything. It's what's going to change your health. It's what's going to change your work life, your play life, your relationships, everything. Your view of life, everything. Your abundance, I want to say. Everything improves when you raise your frequency. So, that has to be our priority, does it not? So let's see if we can raise our frequency a little bit now. What can we do to raise our frequency? Now I'm just thinking, so a lot of people have probably got New Year's resolutions going on. I didn't participate in that this year, but I was finding it interesting how a lot of people start really well and then it kind of tapers off by the end of January. And I was just thinking astrologically, not that I'm an astrologer and I'm no expert on astrology, but I do like to just, keep in mind certain things. So when we start the year, we're in the energy of Capricorn. And Capricorn, of course, is very disciplined. It's very determined. It's the hard worker, quite strict as well, quite controlling. So it would be the energy of willpower and things like that. So probably it's people get started really well if their New Year's resolution is something along the lines of giving up a vice or giving up something, that's not serving them, especially if it's sort of like food related or something like that. It's very often a habit that we've identified as not being good for us. So Capricorn energy is great to get that started. But then, of course, by the end of January, we move into Aquarius energy, which is all about the now moment, all about enjoying the now moment, and all about freedom. And then it's like, I'm free to do whatever I want. And it's completely the opposite energy of that controlling, restricting, Capricorn energy. So I'm not surprised that a lot of, New Year's resolutions go the wrong way by the end of January. I think it's about loving yourself and mastering yourself and finding that beautiful balance, because I think when you love yourself and instinctively just looking to raise your frequency in any area that you can, that is enjoyable, I want to say, based on enjoyment as opposed to deprivation, I think when you do that, you raise your frequency, you will naturally move away from the frequency of the habit that you're wanting to change. So rather than beating yourself up about it, I think it's much better just to love yourself Love yourself, love the habit, love the life, just love everything, do what you enjoy, and then you will find that your frequency will rise and you no longer want to participate in whatever activity or consumption or whatever it is. Because very often we turn to our comfort, whatever it might be, comfort habit, when our energy is low. So anyway, another reason to raise your frequency. So 3 cards have come out. Should we dive in and see what's going on? So we've got the Death card to begin with. Oh my goodness. Massive transformation. This is the card that has the greatest level of transformation, the greatest capacity for transformation. And I hadn't seen them, and that's the way I work. You know that if you regularly watch. So this is about, that transformation has to come from you raising your frequency within, as opposed to deprivation, willpower. I mean, having some self-control is okay, but it's an interesting word, isn't it? We have to find some kind of balance. I mean, if you're really struggling with it and you kind of like hate yourself for craving something, or, hate yourself for doing something, then that's not a good place to be. Whereas, if you're faced with, let's say, 2 options and the healthier option might take a little bit more time, that's often the case, especially if it's food related, having the self-control to do that, rather than taking, the quick option. But then again, life has to be easy. Life has to be easy. So there is a balance there to be had. Finding that balance, because the transformation, this transformation comes from love. I have to say it comes from love. If it's the death of a habit, which I think it must be connected to, because that's what I started talking about. But the death of all sorts of things. It's the death of the old you. Just even like relationships. If you've got any resentment, any bitterness, understanding that your relationships are all a mirror, and that when you can find something to love about what you're seeing in the mirror, find something to love. So the picture in the mirror that your relationships are holding up to you, it's a mirror of you. But there's something annoying you or what have you, but look for something that is lovely in the mirror. And focus on that, because by loving the mirror will change. That's how it works. By loving other people, just letting them know that you love, that they will then hold a mirror up to that love. And that's how you can improve your relationships as well as everything else in the world. Because if you can love whatever it is, find something in everything. I'm talking so broadly now, because I'm talking about, your habits or the things you're wanting to change, but your relationships, everything, your work life, we're looking at everything. What's going on in the collective. If we can find a blessing in it, and we know that we evolve through suffering. So if we can see that blessing in the suffering around us, it helps us focus on the suffering. When we see it as a blessing, it helps us focus on it with gratitude, doesn't it? And when we focus on something with gratitude and love and understanding, then we will get reflected back to us that love and gratitude and understanding. And that's how we change what's on the outside of us, by changing the way we perceive it. The 8 of Swords, there we go. There's somebody not loving what is. There's somebody that's, if you were one of these people watching going, oh, that's easy to say, but you're not stuck in a war zone. Or that's easy to say, but you're not. Open the heart, loads of compassion, loads of love, understanding from a soul level. We've all chosen our path. We've chosen our adversity. And the people, people have chosen certain experiences because they want to be part of this great awakening. at this time. If you read any of Dolores Cannon's work, she talks a lot about this, but people really wanted, the souls wanted to be here at this time to be part of the Great Awakening, and they wanted to play a role in waking people up. And how can you wake people up more than having a role in a tragedy or suffering, adversity, injustice, especially when it's seen globally. When it's seen globally, you're playing the main role, and it's waking people up. It's waking people up on all sorts of different levels. It's waking people up to what's going on the ground, but it's also waking people up to what's going on, who's controlling this stuff. Okay, and then it's also waking people up to the non-physical world, and how's that affecting what's going on, because everything in the physical is born out of the non-physical, right? So on whatever level, it's waking people up, and these souls knew that they would be able to wake people up at this crucial time of humanity's history by incarnating into a war zone, or incarnating into a situation, a controversial situation maybe, and we wake ourselves up to our own spirituality through our own adversity, and so some souls even choose to incarnate into a disabled body so that they can feel the suffering and overcome it. And you see a lot of people living really, really meaningful, fulfilled lives, despite their adversity, despite their limitations, despite their disabilities. You see it all over the place, and then they're really inspiring, aren't they? And then they become motivational teachers and things like that. But on a soul level, it's already been agreed. But this person doesn't see that. She's very, very much stuck in the density and the duality of the third dimension. So she's surrounded by these limiting beliefs that she can't, she's completely restricted by her adversity, whatever her adversity may be. And the castle represents your goals in life, and she just can't seem to access her goals. But the swords are air element. They represent communication. They represent beliefs, thoughts, ideas. And hers are all negative thinking, because she's focusing on the problem. If there are problems in the 3D, okay, or there's suffering in the 3D, okay, but we're not going to find the most divine solution by focusing on that level of consciousness. You have to raise your level of consciousness, which happens when you raise your frequency. We've already talked today about the importance of raising your frequency. When you raise your frequency, you expand into higher levels of consciousness. When you expand into higher levels of consciousness, you can look at the problems in the 3D world from a different perspective, and you will find the solution lies in looking at it differently. And that's one of my favorite quotes, wasn't it? The fabric of life can be altered because the fabric of life can be re-seen. You look at it from a higher level of consciousness. And that's what she kind of needs to do, because the third card is the Hanged Man. We've got two major arcanas here. And the Hanged Man, I love the Hanged Man. I always think that he's hanging from the tree of truth. The rays around his head show spiritual guidance. And the traditional message with this card is don't force action. Don't force action. I like to say don't push energy up a hill. It's like trying to push a rock up a hill, or trying to push energy where it doesn't want to go. You can feel if something is energized. When you do an activity, if you're going to work Monday morning and hating your job, you literally don't have energy in your body. That's why you go like this, and it's all because it's not energizing you. But when you do what you love, when you do what you love, watch people that are doing what they love. They light up. They are energized. And then any action that comes is effortless. So we have the phrase working hard. I mean, we need to kind of reclaim that. I mean, what does working hard mean? I mean, if some people think it means working really long hours doing a job that you hate for very little pay, then to me, that's not working hard. That's just like not doing what you love. That's kind of like putting yourself as a victim, you know, and creating even more adversity. But doing what you love, when you do, it's the most important thing in the world, isn't it, to do what you love? When you can do what you love, you're energized. And then because you have the energy, any effort you don't feel like you're making any effort. Everything is choiceless. You don't have to think about it because you're in alignment. You're in alignment with what your divinity wants to express through your human experience. When you're in alignment with that, that means using your divine gifts, of course. When you do that and you're in alignment, you're going to be energized. And any work that's involved, you know, whatever it might be, physical or mental or whatever work is involved, will be choiceless. You'll do it without thinking and it will be effortless. It will flow through you. That's what we had last week, wasn't it? Life flows through you. I'll put a link in the description to that as well. Clearly still relevant, isn't it? But life will flow through you when you are doing what you love, because it's your divinity. And when you're in alignment with that, everything just comes. Your abundance comes from being in alignment with your divinity. Your abundance doesn't come from your bank account or from your money or from your hard work. Sorry to be the one to tell you, but abundance doesn't come from those things. Abundance comes from your frequency. And your frequency is more abundant when you do what you love. And then everything in your reality, all the mirrors that are being held up, will be more abundant. You'll see abundance in every mirror, whether it be health, happiness, joy, love, money, whatever, the whole works. So the Hanged Man is looking very chilled, isn't he? Because he's not making any effort. But when the action is necessary on a divine level, he will just do it and it will be easy for him. So it's not hard work, it's easy work. So rather than working hard, I say working easy. You can still work and you can be doing it for 10 hours a day. You can be doing it for 24 hours a day. I mean, if it's energizing you and making you feel good, you know, then fill your boots with it. And then it becomes a passion, doesn't it? Because when you have your passion hobby, you can absorb yourself for hours, can't you, in your passion hobby? But I think 2024 is the year to really, really, really turn your passion hobby into, I want to say, a source of abundance. So it's already bringing you joy because you're good at it and you love doing it, right? And it connects you to your divinity. But finding a way to sustain yourself and to create, you know, a financial stream or some kind of bartering or something like that. It's really important. I think 2024 is the year to do that, is to really open up to another level of sharing your gifts and spending time with them. Yeah, and just following your energy, because the Hanged Man is following his energy. And so the transformation that we're looking at here is clearly from victim into sovereignty, you know, from the victim to the circumstances to creating your own divine flow. That's the transformation, isn't it? And trusting in all of that, trusting in the process of life. That's what I want to say. Let's use that affirmation this week, shall we? I trust in the process of life. Because I'm sure that, you know, if you're watching this video, that things are already, you've had synchronicities going on. You know, when you take a step into the direction that your soul wants you to go into, a whole new path opens up for you, and it's exciting. And there are people on that path that want to help you, and there's inspiration and joy to be found on that path. But you have to take a step towards expressing your divinity. and aligning with what brings you joy, doing more of it, and trusting in that process, trusting in the process. You know, moving away from thinking about linear time. I think sometimes that doesn't help us because we're like, okay, how do I make money? I need money in linear time. We're thinking money and linear time all the time. But both money and linear time are third dimensional constructs, aren't they? So we need to raise ourselves above that and trust in the process of life. And trust that when you do what you love, things will fall into place for you. Taking that gamble. And you can't see the solutions now. You know, somebody working from the left brain, you know, somebody wants to, let's say they want to move somewhere, you know, to an expensive country, they've got no money, what have you, but they're just feeling called, you know, they've got that calling, you know, and then somebody from left brain will go, well, you know, what are you going to do for money? And where are you going to get a job? And where are you going to stay? And, you know, that's really impractical. You can't go. Hello, that's her. But somebody else will be like, oh, you're feeling called. That's good. That means it's coming from a higher place. So if you're feeling called, then everything you need is going to come. It will appear on your path. The right people, the right place to work easy. It will all appear. And just put it in your mind, focus on it with an open heart. I am ready and willing to allow my full potential, and just take baby steps. So take a little look at the place. Can you reach out and find anyone that lives there? You know, the internet's amazing. You know, check out, you know, even if it's in advance, check out some jobs and stuff or whatever. Just have a little browse, surf the internet, but do it from this perspective, where he's not channeled and worried and doing it from left brain, you know, got to be methodical, you know, he's doing it from his spiritual flow and just seeing where he goes with a light heart, you know, and that light heart will carry him to the right place at the right time for the right people, you know, and then you'll see that everything is falling into place. So our affirmation for these messages can be, I trust in the process of life. I trust in the process of life. Do you trust in the process of life? Love you all. Have a fantastic week. See you in the next video. Bye for now.